We have some breaking news. The Strait of Hormuz is open, but for how long? President Trump and Iran, I guess, have announced this together that ships can now go through the Strait of Hormuz, which might mean our gas prices might go down and a bunch of other great things. But we'll talk about why this is only temporary, meaning only lasting for a short period of time. Hopefully, this can move into the permanent category, meaning like lasting forever. But what I want to do today with you is watch a news clip. It's a short one, and then teach you 13 terms you need to know if you want to watch the news in English and follow this story. If this is your first time here, my name is Brent. I am an English teacher in the United States. In fact, I am talking to you from my classroom. I am just about to go on vacation. I leave for Mexico in about 12 hours, but this news just broke, so I wanted to get this story to you as quickly as possible. Let's watch the first part together, and then I will come back and teach all of those difficult terms.
Iranian foreign minister on X says that the Strait of Hormuz is open for all commercial vessels. We're just learning this right now. Let me read where we are getting this from X. The foreign minister saying, in line with the ceasefire in Lebanon, the passage for all commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz is declared completely open for the remaining period of the ceasefire on coordinated routes as already announced by ports and maritime organizations of the Islamic Republic of Iran.
For each of the terms, I will have an official definition. I will use it in a sentence, and I will have a picture that goes along with that sentence to help you understand the term better. First, we have commercial shipping. Commercial shipping. This is the business of transporting goods and products by sea for profit. So just in case you don't know what profit means, it means making money. Let's read the sentence that goes along with commercial shipping. Global trade depends heavily on commercial shipping to move goods between continents. Do you know what continents are? They are huge pieces of land. In English, we have North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, and Antarctica. I think I named them all. A thanks to Ahmed, he said, can you walk us through the course like in a nutshell? So this is what you are going to see when you buy the course. There are 4 modules. And you can see the first lesson is about headlines. The second one is elections. The third one is disasters and emergencies. We got the money section. We have a whole section on crime. And then the hardest one, this is about the fact and opinion section. And let's just go into lesson 1.1. You will get a video lesson. I tried to keep all of these lessons under 10 minutes. Government in Washington, D.C., we have 3 parts. Unlike YouTube videos, here I can add PDFs. And at the end of each lesson, you will have a quiz to test yourself on how much you know. And if you ever have a question about the lesson, you can ask it in the comment section. And the best part of the course right now, it's on sale. You can see at the top, the course is $48.50 US, but there also is a small group. There are 8 seats left. The maximum number of students we will have in that small group is 10. We will meet once a week through the month of June. We'll meet for at least 60 minutes, but it may turn into 90 minutes to help you get that extra English help. You can find the coupon link in the description box or in the comment section. Okay, let's get back to the English lesson. Next, we have vessels. Vessels. If you know the word vehicle, which means pretty much any car, truck that goes across land, vessel is pretty much the same word for something that goes across water. It could be boats, ships, things like that. Let's get the official definition. A formal word for large boats or ships used to transport or commerce. Commerce means something to do with business. The harbor was full of large fishing vessels and cargo ships. Next, we have ceasefire. This might be new. It is possibly review, though, because we have talked about it on the channel before. And opening the Strait of Hormuz is only good while this ceasefire lasts. The ceasefire was for 10 days originally, so time is running out. Let's get the official definition for ceasefire: an agreement between two sides to stop fighting, a war or conflict. So right now, between the US and Iran, there is a ceasefire. Between Israel and Lebanon, there is another ceasefire. So that's good news. Hopefully that ceasefire can hold. Hopefully it can last. Let's get a sentence that uses ceasefire. Both countries signed a ceasefire to allow humanitarian aid to reach the city. Do you know what humanitarian aid is? Well, it has human in part of the word, and it just means like food, water, medicine, things people might need to survive. There are only a few days remaining on this ceasefire. Let's talk about what remaining means. It means still present or left over after other parts have gone or been used. Only 3 minutes are remaining in the meeting, so let's finish quickly. Earlier today, I cooked French toast for my students because we are going on vacation for a week. I wanted to celebrate, and I cooked a lot of French toast, but there were 3 pieces remaining that nobody ate. I know we've talked about this one before: coordinated. Coordinated, let's get the official definition. Organized so that different people or groups work well together towards a goal. The emergency services made a coordinated effort to help the victims. Ports. Earlier, I mentioned harbors. Ports and harbors are basically the same thing. Let's talk about what they are. A town or city with a harbor where ships load or unload goods. Singapore has one of the busiest ports in the world. One of the busiest ports in the United States would be New York City. New Orleans is another very big port. Maritime. You might see this when talking about the ocean or the sea or large body of water. Let's get the official definition. Connected with the sea, especially regarding commercial or military activity. The new maritime laws will change how ships travel through international waters.
But this is a huge announcement coming from the Iranian foreign minister about what has become a central part of the negotiation, getting the Strait of Hormuz open and safely. And so we're going to bring you much more as we get this in, literally coming in as we're talking about. As we are getting this, we also have a new report that claims that the United States is also considering a $20 billion deal that would help to end the conflict. This is a report from Axios, co-written also by CNN political and global affairs analyst Barack Ravid. Let me read a quote from this reporting now coming in. The U.S. and Iran are negotiating over a 3-page plan to end the war, with one element under discussion being that the U.S. would release $20 billion in frozen Iranian funds in return for Iran giving up its stockpile of enriched uranium. This according to 2 U.S. officials and 2 additional sources briefed on the talks.
Oh my gosh, native English speakers love to use this word literally. Literally, we literally put it in almost every sentence. Let's get the definition. Exactly. Used to emphasize that something is true and not an exaggeration. Take a look at the picture. That city is literally underwater. Here's the sentence. The city was literally underwater after the massive storms. Somebody could describe themselves as being underwater, but it's not literally underwater. You could also use that when you are extremely busy. Let's say it's a Friday afternoon, maybe not going into vacation like I am. I'm not busy at all. But if you are super busy and your boss brings you even more work to do, you could say, listen, I'm already underwater. I can't handle any more work. But in that way, you're not literally underwater. You're just busy. It's an idiom. Considering. Let's get the definition for that. Taking something into account. Thinking about a fact when making a judgment. Take a look at the guy in the picture. He just started a new job. Here is the sentence. I think he did a great job considering he has only worked here for a week. So maybe he didn't do a great job if he had been there for like a year or two, but considering he just started, like he had a pretty good week. What is an analyst? That is how you pronounce that word, analyst. An analyst is a person whose job is to examine information or data in detail to provide an opinion. The financial analyst, when you hear the word financial, what do you think of? I hope you said money. A financial analyst, they work with money. Here's that sentence again. The financial analyst predicted that the stock market would rise this month. In the newscast, they said the word funds. I thought they were going to say the word assets. So let's talk about those two words because they are basically the same. And then we will talk about how Iran's assets or funds were frozen, but it's maybe not the type of frozen you might think, like ice. No, something else. Let's get funds and assets right here. Funds refer to available money. Assets are valuable things owned by a person or a company. So if you own a house or if you own a car, those are pretty valuable assets. Let's get a sentence. The company is selling its assets to raise funds for a new project. Now let's take a look at these two examples of frozen. One can be temperature and one has something to do with finances or is financial or has something to do with money. The first one, temperature, extremely cold, solidified into ice. Solidified, that means like solid. You might hear frozen solid. Ice is frozen solid. The lake is frozen. It's below zero today. Now let's talk about the money. Definition of assets. This means temporarily locked and unable to be used. My bank account is frozen. The government froze his funds. And I don't know how this works. I don't know who does it, but Iran had a lot of money, a lot of funds that have been frozen. I don't know if the United States did that, but they are not able to get their money. Many people believe that Iran has a stockpile of enriched uranium. Let's talk about both of those terms. A stockpile is a large supply of something like food or fuel kept for future use. In the picture, there is a warehouse there of medical supplies. We could also call it a stockpile because there is a lot to use there. The government has a large stockpile of medicine in case of an emergency. We have talked about uranium before on this channel. We're just going to talk about enriched uranium, which is a little different. It's a little more useful. A type of processed nuclear fuel used in power plants or research. The international inspectors arrived to check the levels of enriched uranium. Yeah, and the problem is enriched uranium can also be used to make nuclear bombs. And that is it. I hope this has helped you improve your English. If you are looking for more English about the war between Iran and the United States, it's right down there. Right up there is that QR code. If you would like to join my course to really take you to the next level with your English reading. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.